It started simply, just another name joining the Hive community. Isu, who also went by Koda, wasn't immediately suspicious. She was soft-spoken, friendly even, and seemed eager to be a part of the group. As Quicklish MC, I've always tried to be open and welcoming. I've built a space where people could feel safe, express themselves, and have fun without fear. I don't throw around accusations lightly, and I didn't imagine that someone I welcomed in good faith would eventually turn around and try to tear down what I've built, with lies, manipulation, and deliberate harm. But that's exactly what happened. This is my story, and it's time for me to speak up, not just for myself, but for everyone Isu has affected. The screenshots and experiences I'm about to lay out are not shared to generate drama. This expose is a formal, detailed account meant to bring closure to those she's harmed and to set the record straight for those who have been misled. Every part of this is real. Every word is backed by receipts. So let's start at the beginning. In the first screenshot, Isu presents herself as emotionally vulnerable, hinting at mental struggles. She uses language that makes the other party in the screenshot feel obligated to respond with care. It seems innocent on the surface, but this is the first step in a pattern of manipulation. These messages are written in a way that places emotional responsibility on the other person, guilt-tripping them by saying things like, "I don't care how much you hate me, I'll earn your trust again." Or saying, "I was thinking about dipping from servers either way," making an attempt to earn the other party's trust back. The point is not connection, it's control. In the second and third screenshots, the pattern becomes clearer. When conversations don't go Isu's way, her tone shifts. She sends messages like, "It's all my fault," and even claiming that all online is just completely toxic. These are not expressions of genuine insecurity. They're tactics to guilt people into comforting her, giving her attention, and maintaining emotional closeness. I found myself constantly questioning whether I was doing something wrong by needing space or talking to others. This emotional tug-of-war has made it impossible to interact with her without stress or second guessing. If you are sensitive to topics that you will see in the upcoming part of this video, such as grooming or racism, please click off the video. It's for your best interest. Still here? Thanks for sticking around. Then came the moment I couldn't ignore. This next screenshot shows a Discord message from Isu accusing me, Quicklish MC, of being racist. This wasn't a slip-up or a misinterpretation. It was a deliberate, targeted attack. She posted it with no context, no evidence, and no warning. And it wasn't just hurtful, it was destructive. This is a label that can ruin reputations, and she used it as a weapon because I refused to remain under her control. That message is burned into my mind. It made me realize the full extent of the danger she posed, not just to me, but to anyone who tried to step away from her. I want to pause here and address this directly. I am not racist. The accusation was not only false, it was slander. It was retaliation, and I will not let that lie define me. I've spent months building my place in this community, and I've always been welcoming and respectful. And the people who know me, truly know me, understand that. But accusations like that carry weight, and Isu knew it. That's why she said it, to ruin me. Now, what I think is pretty hypocritical is she claimed that I was racist with no evidence, after she said a racial slur. Because in the screenshot, once again, I feel this is unfair to the people she's hurt and offended, because it's seriously impacted them in ways I'm not even sure I can explain. The next piece of evidence pushes the situation far beyond what most people could have imagined. In this screenshot, another victim shares a deeply disturbing account. Isu, fully aware of the age gap, sent NSFW images to someone she knew was 2 years younger than her. This is not an ambiguous or taken out of context claim. It is a direct allegation of sending explicit material to a minor. The victim, speaking openly, explains the circumstances at the time. They were emotionally unstable, already struggling to maintain a sense of normalcy in their life. They were isolated from most people with very few to talk to, and no strong support system. It was in this state, cut off from outside perspective, that Isu's behavior took root. They didn't see it for what it was in the moment. Instead, they chalked it up to weird behavior and tried to normalize it, because that was easier than facing the possibility of something darker happening. Looking back now, with the clarity of distance, they recognize it for what it truly was. Grooming. What makes this account so difficult to process is the vulnerability involved. This was not two equal parties engaging in harmless humor. This was someone in a position of greater maturity, knowingly pushing sexual boundaries with a younger, emotionally fragile person. Even though the victim now understands the severity, at the time they lack the tools and perspective to label it correctly. That is what grooming does. It clouds judgment and manipulates emotional dependency. Their exhaustion is obvious. The victim is no longer holding back the anger that comes from being repeatedly mistreated. The victim calls her, we'll say this the nice way, an attention seeker, who thrives not just on positive attention, but on negative attention as well. It's not about resolving conflict or finding common ground. It's about being at the center of people's focus, no matter the cost. That's why the victim recommends that if the situation is addressed in a public video, it should include a direct call to action. Ignore her completely, block her from community spaces, and cut off the attention she so deliberately provokes. When you place this evidence alongside earlier examples of guilt tripping, manipulation, and boundary crossing, the picture becomes chillingly clear. This isn't just a matter of someone being toxic or hard to deal with. This is someone who, according to this testimony, has engaged in outright predatory behavior, targeting vulnerable individuals and exploiting their trust. The fact that this follows the same manipulative cycle we've already documented, emotional dependency, blurred boundaries, retaliation, makes it impossible to dismiss this as a one-off incident. Other screenshots reveal more of the same pattern with other victims: private pressure, emotional dumping, unwanted flirtation, and retaliation when boundaries are set. Each interaction shows the same toxic cycle repeated with minor variations. It's not a coincidence, it's a method. Isu creates emotional dependency, punishes autonomy, and attacks when control is lost. To the Hive community, this expose is not a call for harassment. It's a final message. These screenshots are not drama, they are documentation. They are proof. I have stayed silent along with other victims for way too long, hoping she would stop, hoping she would change, hoping others would see through it. But silence protects no one. The only way to stop the cycle is to expose it, and that's what I'm here to do. I don't write this easily. It's been emotionally exhausting to relive this and go through every message and screenshot. But I write it because I care about this community. I write it because I want others to be aware. I write it because no one else should have to go through it. If you've been manipulated by Isu, you are not alone. If you felt guilty, confused, pressured, it's not your fault. You were targeted for your kindness. And to Isu, if you see this, I hope you see the harm you've caused. I hope you reflect. But most of all, I hope you stop. Because the community deserves better. We deserve better. And we're done staying quiet.